All right, I'd like to call to order the May 2025 Southbury Zoning Commission meeting. Let's all stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, seating of alternates. I see we have a full house tonight, so there's no need to seat any alternates. And we have a quorum. All right, I want to make a motion to rearrange the schedule a little bit. I'd like to move up to first on the agenda, the closed public hearing, which is application number 250106Z, 33 Burma Road. To get that out of the way, do I hear a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any further discussion on this? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right, so we're going to start with application number 250106Z, 33 Burma Road, Southbury, Connecticut. Ms. Esma Salmani, petitioner, applicant for a zone change pursuant to zoning regulation section 15 zone map amendment. It's a petitioning to revise the zoning map between B1A commercial and zone R30 residential. The map was provided several meetings ago. We had the public hearing on it, and the public hearing is closed. And right now, it's open for discussion, and I guess we should vote if we want. So, on to discussion. Any discussion on this matter?
I don't.
Nobody?
No.
We're ready to vote?
Yep. Yes.
We're ready to vote. We'll make this quick. All right, do we have a resolution to read first to see what we're voting on? Or we do that?
Within the packet is both a draft approval and a draft denial resolution for your review. If you find the 33 Burma Road binder folder, there's a tab labeled resolutions. I think it's under that one with the green to your right, Gary, right under that top one.
Okay, got it.
He's got good eyesight.
He put it there. He should
Well,
know.
this is true.
Jordan, where are the resolutions? Okay, so the top's just right there. All right, since we all heard the testimony, we've had many discussions, both here and we had a special meeting discussing this map amendment, basically, just moving the line. Do I hear a motion either way on this?
Are you asking that we moved whether or not to accept the final resolution? I'm not quite clear what we're voting on right now.
Oh, we're voting on whether we approve or disapprove the moving of the line,
Oh,
based
okay.
upon all the testimony we've heard.
Okay. I move that we accept the moving of the line.
I also. approve
Okay,
it.
do I hear a second on it then? Let's just
I'll
go.
second.
Any other further discussion on this? All those in favor?
Aye.
I guess it's unanimous. I will read into the record then the resolution approving this change of zone line. Can you do the honors, please?
Resolution, amendment to zone map 33 Burma Road, MBL 54-281, May 14, 2025. Whereas, on January 8, 2025, the Zoning Commission received a petition from Secor, Cassidy, and McPartland, PC, on behalf of the owner petitioner, Basir and Esma Salmani, seeking to amend the zone boundary within their property located at 30 Burma Road. Whereas this map amendment would modify existing zone boundary between the R30 and B1A zones contained within the parcel. This amendment would increase the R30 zone while reducing the B1A zone within this parcel. Whereas a public hearing was held by the Zoning Commission on February 12th, 2025, and closed on the same date, upon which time all information was presented and considered. Whereas the zone change map is generated by All Seasons Land Surveying Title Zoning Location Survey Proposed Zone Change dated November 27th, 2024, prepared for Esma Salmani and includes the 500-foot adjoining owners list. Whereas the Zoning Commission has reviewed and considered all of the oral testimony and documents presented at the above public hearing, which included without limitation a negative referral from the Southbury Planning Commission dated January 31, 2025. Taking into consideration the Planning Commission's review, as well as the information presented, the Zoning Commission finds that the proposed amendments to the zone map are consistent with the overall zone, as well as the Southford Village District as a whole. Now therefore, be it resolved that the zoning amendment to the zone map is approved, subject to the following administrative requirements. 1, signature of the chairman of the Zoning Commission is required on the Mylar prior to filing with the town clerk. Submission of the new zone, 2, submission of the new zone boundary map in PDF form to the Land Use Department, adopted at a regular meeting by the Zoning Commission held on May 14th, 2025, effective date of approval June 6, 2025.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Finally. All right, moving on now to, back to the original order of the agenda. New business, application number 250429, ZC PDD number 8, amendment number 24, Southbury Green, text amendment and modification of detailed plans.
Good evening, my name's Hugh Sullivan. I'm an architect with Bennett Sullivan Associates in Southbury. We'll be joining the press just to activate.
The green light should be on.
Green light. Here this evening to speak about an addition to the rear of the ShopRite store so they could have a 460 square foot addition that would be for pastry, cooler, and storage. They currently don't have that now. I'll bring you up to date. That entire store is being upgraded on the interior. We met with the fire marshal and the building official last week about it. So they're trying to change the old kind of Grand Union stuff that they had in there, as well as with changes that have occurred with COVID, with their service of how, if you've gone into the store, you'll see employees that have like black jackets on, and they go around and they procure the groceries you want, and then they go outside when you call them and they put the groceries in your car. And some of that has to do with the other amendment I'm looking for as well, which we'll speak about this evening. But tonight, this is just for the pastry cooler, 460 square feet. And again, protocol, I didn't know if you were gonna be on the screen tonight with our drawings, but we submitted what we could. So each applicant or each commissioner would have a set of documents. There are no issues with coverages that the PDD had, and no issues with setbacks. This is a direct connection to the rear of the building. Do they have documents? Okay.
Yep, they were all electronically provided. This is
This is 16, that's 17.
Here, you want 17?
Yeah.
I'll hold it if you want.
You need different ones. You keep that for the next one.
Incoming.
Smaller version here as well, we can pass around.
Thank you. This is the existing building as you know it, and, you had approved a modification for the rear trucking area, which we'll see later on. This is a tough one here.
Yeah, I'll hold this, you just want to.
Yeah.
Oh, I can see it.
This one, I'm sorry. They have the-
We're here to help you.
This is the structure in the back, 460 square feet, and it's connected to the bakeries right here. We'll be able to go into it, and it will help their whole bakery operation. So, that's important to the store operation. It's a minor request. I hope you could support it. The goal is to, we have the elevations, bear with me. Too many drawings. You prefer the old easel technique still? Or, 'cause I haven't done an easel in years.
No. You could have gone up on the big one there.
I thought that's what I was gonna be at tonight, so.
Sorry about that.
No, that's all right. There's too many drawings. There it is in the back. The back of the building is just a small, one-story structure. It's an insulated structure, and it's gonna be painted the color of the brick of the building.
Okay.
So wood sided,
It's not brick-sided.
it's wood.
No, it's an insulated metal panel.
Okay.
That will be, part of refrigeration, and they will be then, painted the color of the building. That's it.
So on this drawing, you're assuming you're getting approval for this.
No. I'm still on the agenda for that.
I know, but this does show the expanded,
Correct, it does, yeah.
just,
Yeah.
no big deal.
So I would hope you would just accept this application, and, we'd have a public hearing next month,
Yeah, we'll refer this to planning.
okay?
I don't see any big deal here, it's all in the back. As far as the materials and the color, I don't see any issue there.
Okay.
Again, it's all in the back.
Right?
And I guess if you get off 84 and look down the side, hopefully see it, who cares?
Well, yeah, but we're gonna match the, it's not gonna be a silver or a white box. They're gonna make it so it matches the building. So,
All right, so we'll go to planning and we'll have set the public hearing for next month.
thank you.
All right, application number 250508Z, text amendment, section 12.
With it. Hugh Sullivan, I'm here, really as a private person, an architect, and your commission has always been helpful in, guiding us, over the years on projects. One of the sections in plan development has just become very problematic for me, and it's just because of a single word. And it's in, section, bear with me. Section 12.6.3 refers to as other residential. It states when the plan development or portion thereof under the purposes of paragraph 1213, 1214, or 1215 include subdivision of lands to create lots for single-family detached dwellings and/or establishment of dwellings containing two or more dwelling units. The special standards of paragraph 1261 and 1262 shall be applicable. I want you to put a not in there, because it's the same kind of procedure for planning that you do for a PDD, but you don't do it for a PDU, sorry. My reason, I'm looking and searching hopefully to do some mixed-use projects, meaning residential, office, retail, on Main Street, in the business districts. And it's really something that's really been kind of hounding me as an architect and a planner, trying to get people to do, and it's kind of coming full circle, but I can't do it in Southbury because of this, well, these parcels are under 5 acres. Okay? The PDD instrument, I love. I mean, I personally make the whole town a planned development. That's just me, because, you know, I hate subdivisions, just with passion. But this would really help Main Street for a whole mixed-use corridor. And I and my partner Kevin, who you know, we get inundated with requests for apartments. The day of what I call the 4-bedroom box with the attached 2-car garage in the subdivision, it isn't what people are looking for. Yes, some are, but you need to understand, if you were to go and look at the PDUs that have been approved and the PDDs that have been approved, they've already been operating all along as if this knot was here. You know, there are, I put together some lists on my, it's in here, sorry. I mean, you have a total of 18 planned development units, of which a vast majority of them have more than 2 units. Historically, when Dolores was here, she would always, in those regs, go to sections 12.4, 12.1.4, and 12.1.5, because in her opinion, that's how we got to do all the PDDs and PDUs with her. So the 12.1, the 12.1.1, the 12.1.2, and the 12.1.3, you know, they're fine, but they were originally geared for the creation of Heritage Village.
Right.
And, you know, people forget there are 2,580 dwelling units in Heritage Village. I mean, significant. Never mind all the other projects in town, and be it planned development units or PDDs, but, you know, the life care facilities are a tremendous amount of beds. If this Pomperaug Personnel Village program comes, I mean, that's 180 apartments. You know, again, it's not helping those in the what I would call the 20 to 40-year-olds that are seeking places to live. And I can, you know, tell you on Kevin's buildings, you know, he's got waiting lists. And, you know, people say, well, are these adults coming in that have kids and they want to use the school system? Well, that's really not the case when you look at it. It's, the percentage is very low on this matter. I mean, for what it's worth, you know, I have a daughter that's 33, and 3 of her high school classmates from Pomperaug, because they work in the area, they're in those apartments. I mean, separately. They don't want a house. I get it. I found your board has always been, forthright about creating, new opportunities. Sometimes we'll get asked by Board of Finance, Hugh, Kevin, what can you do to help the tax base of the community? Well, this is one of these things on Main Street South. If we could have the opportunity, if a client came and said, I'm interested in this parcel on Main Street, can we do a mixed use with housing? Well, right now I can't because of that word. And Jordan and I have been working together on this for the past 3 months. And, but if you have a comment or have anything to add to it, I'd greatly appreciate it.
So, any improvements that Mr. Sullivan is looking to make to the PDU for the reasons prescribed in this meeting, I'd say take that into consideration. From the town's perspective, it was brought to our attention that fundamentally and legally we had errors within the Section 12 process as it's related to planned development units. Previously, they were held completely within the Planning Commission, and providing special exceptions that aren't approved in the land use chart is not a function that the Planning Commission is legally allowed to maintain. So we need to remove that function from the Planning Commission and put it with a commission that has the legal opportunity to amend regulations and amend zones in the way that the overlay planned development districts allow. This plan accommodates that, as well as accommodating the factors that Mr. Sullivan has elaborated here.
One of the things that I told Jordan when I would read the Section 12 regulation, and I found it very confusing. It was originally written by Bob Bryan, who is a technical planner. In my trade of architecture, I would have architects that are designers, and I'd have architects that are spec writers. The spec writers, they love their English teacher, great, but they don't know how to design, okay? Bob was an excellent technical writer, but every time I read Section 12, and then when I was on the Planning Commission and the town was being sued for the Traditions project, I just didn't understand why it was so cumbersome, because it could have been made so easily achieved on these matters. And I do believe what's going to be coming here in the next 5 to 20 years, you're going to see existing buildings that some of you may have approved get torn down. I always thought that, gee, Hugh, you did a building, it's going to be there forever. No, we're already starting to recycle. Between us, I think the first buildings you could see in the next 5 years go by the wayside will be our pharmacies, the Walgreens and the CVS's. They're starting to, Walgreens leading the pack in terms of, emptying the stores. But, what was a tenant that used to pay the highest rent per square foot in Southbury due to Heritage Village, is waning quickly. But when I was reading Section 12, I told Jordan, I said, I'd like to get some definitions in here. What is the definition of a PDD? What is the definition of a PDU? What is the definition of mixed use? And in here, with my help with Jordan, we wanted to put some sections in there about, what we want the reg to permit, flexibility in design, zoning and legal agreements, community focus, minimum parcel size, and community integration. The importance of this to me is that I just think it's going to make a better downtown. And I would hope you support it and you'd accept my amendment. I have no project in mind. I'm doing this on my own. I have no client paying me. It's nothing like that. It's just something that, I worked in Section 12 for so long, I just see the issues I've always had with it.
Are you recommending wholesale changes to Section 12, or just adding that one word, not?
Well, there are some minor, predominantly it's not, but there are some areas in it where I am changing planning commission to zoning commission for the approval cycle.
Okay.
I'm not trying to bypass, number one, any land use agency, wetlands, nothing changes, except the zoning commission is in charge. You know, the way I've always looked at zoning regulations between the zoning commission and the planning commission is that the zoning commission is the Supreme Court, they write the laws. The planning commission is the police force, and they implement it. That's just how I look at it, okay? And,
I agree.
so, which is, it's something that, again, I wanted to just add clarity to it and make it easy, and I just didn't wanna wait for, I realize, you know, boards have to get land use consultants, and for me, it take too long. I just wanted to get this on the agenda. If you wanna tweak it, that's fine. But I just wanted you to be aware that it's something that's, it needs to be addressed.
So, again, do you have a rewrite of section 12?
No, would you call it a rewrite?
Well, I mean, you're changing words here and there, and/or,
Hang on.
where'd that come from? Okay, so you have, this is what I'm looking for. This is what you're proposing. All right. I'm on.
And this is the red line version, but I also did your, bear with me here. Under here. There's yours with the line struck. Okay? That will help, yep. I think there's only 6 there. Yeah.
All right, so we'll
I
take
understand your
this.
question now, yes.
Okay, and this is what I'm looking for, so, this is a better version, all right. So forget that one.
That's the one you gave me.
So this is the official text you want to submit
Correct.
tonight, which we'll take it in. We'll refer this out to all the sister agencies we have to send it out to.
That's too bad.
I know, but we have to. We'll set a public hearing for next month.
Yes, okay. Thank you so much. So, do any of these agencies I need to go to, or they'll just, because it's not
I mean,
an application, it just,
there's really only one.
I understand that,
I mean, it's really up to you if you want to
Yeah.
present your case before them.
correct.
But as it stands, you don't really have to. They just have to refer it back to us.
Right.
Their interpretation and/or standing with regards to these changes, and it's, again, as you said, we're the Supreme Court. We make the final
That's
decision.
right. Okay.
The planning commission has been notified about the issues within the section, so they are aware that this is coming down the pipe. So if
Okay.
you'd like to be
Now,
there to
also
present it.
keep in mind, if we approve this next month or even the month after, we are going through an entire rewrite of the zoning regulations, and this could change even further down the road, hopefully for the better.
As long as the
Something,
spirit of it is there,
I think that's,
Yeah.
hopefully that's the case.
Correct.
You'll get it started, and, again, based upon the expertise that we're hiring, they may find something they want to tweak even more, so,
Yeah.
but I think
as
it's
long-
good
if
to
you can
get going
remain
on this.
Positive on it, it'd be a great planning tool for the street.
Okay, everybody okay with that?
That's fine.
I just want to have one question. Are there any projects that have been impacted by this? That, you know, I know you're not working on one right now, you're just,
Only when developers have come and see, some of the issues right now we have on projects is with financing for construction mortgages. The minute you can blend office, retail, medical with residential, the banks love you. Because it's all part of the Community Reinvestment Act that banks have to demonstrate for a community. And it has nothing to do with affordable housing, okay? It just has to do, what are you doing in your community to provide different types of housing? You know, whether it's a subdivision, but if you could get a mixed-use project, they appraise very well, and they create great tax base, and it's something that I think the town of Southbury would truly, you know, enjoy. For what it's worth, if you're familiar, in Newtown, there is a project whose name escapes me, right, Lexington Gardens, where
Yeah.
it's a project project we did, and the chairman of the borough there, has called me several times. He said, Hugh, I know 10 years ago you came in here and you said you wanted to do a retail office housing, and I can't tell you how much our board just didn't listen to you.
They didn't do that.
Because he said, I personally would have moved with my wife downtown to an apartment or a condo, whatever the method was, to be in the central district of Newtown. And again, in Newtown, it wasn't an issue of water or sewer, because they had it. And also, let me point out to you on these projects, and Gary, I know you'll understand this, is, let's say a parcel comes up on Main Street, and somebody wants to do housing, they're still required to get engineers to determine what the capacity might be for bedroom account. I mean, you could have a lot that says, well, you can only get 2 bedrooms here, you can have 1 here, you can get 12. I mean, but all that engineering still takes place. I mean, that really is gonna be more important than actually the zone. It wouldn't surprise me in some parts of the street here if there were lots that the engineering may not be that great. So, but we still have to do that, do the health department, do wetlands, planning, zoning, all that criteria is there.
Understood, thank you.
All right, thanks, Hugh. Next we go to,
Public hearings. Application 250408ZC, PDD number 8, amendment number 23, Southbury Green, ShopRite Edition, Regency Center's owner.
That's mine, there's no one's here. Sorry, right here. Good evening, I'm Hugh Sullivan. Here about ShopRite. We've received, and again, it's something that, again, always kind of confuses me sometimes with the Plan Development District. I always refer to a project starting off general plans, which sets the zone. And when I have to come back and let's say, because a building owner makes a change, I don't understand why it wouldn't be a modification to the general plans, but it becomes a modification to the detailed plans. And I haven't, it's like I skipped the general plans phase. And that's, so right now, we're having a public, and we normally would have a public hearing on general plans, but we wouldn't have a public hearing on detailed plans.
Right.
So, as we move forward, I'd like to get some guidance, and I can certainly speak to Jordan about it. But despite that, this is what you approved in 2021 as a use. And that use was to put an addition on the back of the building that was 1,946 square feet, so they could expand their delivery, trucking, and trash compacting, as well as they have exterior changes on the building with glass and doors, solely due to this program that they have for food delivery to their clients. Again, you call in and you give your order or type it or give it online, and when you get there, you call them and they bring your groceries out to the parking lot. And that's why the parking lot area or designated spaces are being moved to the left side of the building rather than in the front, okay? So that we've done. Our plans depict that. Our plans depict the changes in the elevations of the building. It's the same type of, monumental glazing, white frame with the black glass and the transparent glass where it's needed. The black glass is when they have spaces behind it that aren't accessible.
Do I understand that the purpose behind that is to sort of relieve some of the congestion that's happening out front, and you can
Correct.
move it around
That's
to that
correct.
side?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yep. They also had to, have, more deliveries, and that all developed with COVID in terms of
Right.
how they get stuff delivered. They created a new trash compactor as part of the building permit documents. They are, coordinating a new, emergency generator on the roof because grocery stores lost their insurance. It's been a new trend. Generators are $1 million. It's a new trend that when you lose power and you lose your food, you're not getting covered by insurance anymore. So ShopRite, with all their stores, had to put a generator on each building. Also, as part of that, due to, I'm not gonna say EPA, but requirements for gas and refrigeration, they now have a new CO2 condenser that they're gonna put on the roof to feed all the refrigeration, so it'll be very energy efficient. It's a CO2 cooler, again, $1 million, it's that kind of money to get this stuff. But, and then, like I said, they're gonna redo the whole inside of the store, to make your shopping experience wonderful.
So I'm assuming that the compliance with the other things that you just talked about are happening in conjunction with this renovation?
Yes.
So it all happens at the
With the
same
building
time?
official, fire marshal, yeah, that's right.
So it's all coordinated?
Yes, correct,
Okay.
correct.
Is there a time frame?
Oh, if you speak to the contractor, Structure Craft, Hugh, you're late, you just told me about the project last night, yeah, they're in a rush.
Okay,
They're
so
in
you're
a
not
rush.
talking like 5
Well,
years
and
down
you
the
should
road?
know, when they do the renovation, they only work at night.
Oh, yeah, because of the
Yeah,
storm.
they don't, and everything gets, I think they're the largest user of, plastic in the world, so, at any time they come in and work at night, everything's, cordoned off,
Wow.
so,
So it's not gonna be tomorrow afternoon?
no,
Gotcha.
no. I'm not gonna lie to you. Oh, yeah, tomorrow afternoon, it's not gonna happen.
Yeah, I was gonna say, when they go in on
But
Saturday, it's
the
gonna be
addition on,
gorgeous.
the addition on the back again is all brick to match,
Yeah.
trim matches, the cornice comes around, matches. The equipment on the roof is, designed to be, hidden. And again, anything that's visible from the highway, as we've done before, like the theater or even at, Grand Union, we go up and we screen it afterwards or paint it so it matches the brick or the roof shingles.
So what are you asking of us?
Tonight
Oh,
is,
this is a public hearing.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah, it's, yeah, the,
I'm sorry.
what we're asking for tonight is the approval of the addition on the rear of the building, for, the 4 tractor trailers, but it's the expansion of the receiving and, staging spaces for the trucks when they deliver, as well as exterior, design of adding a few more doors and, moving some doors. With this new, tenant fit up, they've gotta do some more exiting, cause the code has changed, but it's pretty straightforward. One of the things that, again, prompts this is, pilferage. People, there's some wise people, get an empty shopping cart, they go in and they go out the same door. And there's no one watching. And I was there one day and I said, geez, that man just came in and came out, he got a full grocery cart. And I spoke to my client about it. He said, oh, welcome to our world. And he said, what are we gonna do? I'm not having my employees chase anybody. I'm not gonna do anything. It is what it is. But we're now going to make certain we can make it a little more difficult to get in the maze, to get in and out of the store, correctly. Yeah, many people walk right in there, if you're familiar with the store, go in and grab the bouquet of flowers and walk right out and bring them home. Yeah,
That's a sign of the times, really.
yeah.
It's not just here.
Yeah, it's amazing how it comes back and I have to redesign a tenant space for a client because of their internal workings, and the people that run the internal workings of the store are really, unique, in their backgrounds. Some of the employees, they've been there 30, 40 years. You've been in the milk department for 30 years. You've been in cheese, you've been in meat, and it's amazing how much solidarity there is in each store with the managers. So it's a good store. They're willing to make, changes for us in the town. It's thriving. So it's something I think that, you should support.
Before we go to any more questioning, do we have any referral from planning?
Planning issued the referral.
Who wants to read this? You should read it into the record.
What am I reading to? Was this first page? This first page? Memo to zoning commissioners from Jordan Rachenko, Land Use Administrator, April 23rd, 2025, location 775 Main Street South, PDD number 8. 8-3A referral, modification of detailed plans, amendment number 23. In accordance with, excuse me, in accordance with Connecticut General Statutes 8-3AB, the Southbury Zoning Commission referred a modification of detailed plans proposal for PDD number 8 to the Planning Commission for review and comment to determine consistency of the proposed application with the plan of conservation and development, as well as any other plan the commission deems relevant. The following is a summary of the application. Construction of a 1,946 square foot addition to the shipping and receiving space located behind Building A, adding a new ramp and railing to the northern quarter of Building A to accommodate access to the employee parking area, where 6 parking spaces are to be converted for the use by patrons arriving for pre-scheduled grocery pickups. Relocation of the front entry and exit doors for the primary grocery retailer located in Building A, as well as adding 1 door to the front of Building A for grocery pickups to be accessible by employees only. At a Planning Commission meeting held on April 15th, 2025, the Commission considered the proposed modification of detailed plans for PDD number 8 and found it to be consistent with the 2023 Plan of Conservation and Development. Attached herein are the minutes from the April 15th, 2025 meeting. The following comments were made by the commissioners. The rear portion of Building A is often used for the outside storage of trucks, materials, and refuse. A clear language should be drafted prohibiting the use of this area in a manner not consistent with a standard shipping and receiving area. Will the new entry and exit doors be accommodated by ADA access ramps? Will there be pedestrian crosswalk striping leading patrons into the new entry and exit doors? The following motion was made. Motion by Commissioner Harrison, seconded by Commissioner Gerardo, and passed unanimously to forward a favorable response to the Zoning Commission 8-3AB referral.
Okay, discussion on the 3 points that the Planning Commission made. Storage of trucks, materials, and refuse in the back. We also got a letter from an adjoining property owner complaining about the same thing, so That's something we should be discussing right now and make it a part of this approval process.
Yes.
With regards to the new entry and exit doors be accommodated by ADA access ramps,
Yes,
okay. And will there be pedestrian crosswalk striping leading patrons into the new entry and exit doors?
yes.
Okay, so the only key point we have to really discuss and make sure we get into the approval tonight is the issue of outside storage of trucks, materials, and refuse.
I don't know what that means, if I may ask.
Okay, well, I have a letter here from submitted by adjacent property owner,
Yep,
Robin Starchak,
correct.
which really, I mean, she's not against what's being done, but she just has concern, the same concern as,
She's had it for 20 years, just so you know, ever since they invented plastic bags. We have litter bugs here in this town, and
Yeah,
the
no
wind
kidding.
comes along, and god darn it, they go in her yard. So,
I understand her frustration
Yes.
because when I was in Bridgeport, we were across from a park.
yes,
And we would spend 15 to 20 minutes a day
Yeah.
picking up other people's garbage.
right,
So I can definitely
Yep.
feel her pain on that. And it just seems most of the stuff should be able to be addressed.
I agree with their daily maintenance,
Here.
and they have daily maintenance.
The other thing I think she addressed in the letter was
The lighting at night and the noise.
the lighting at night, the noise,
well,
but
let's read the letter and then we
Yeah.
Yeah.
can discuss it more.
Okay, this letter is dated May 14th, 2025, to Planning and Zoning, Town of Southbury. I'm writing in regards to the PDD number 8 plan submitted by Regency Centers for additions, et cetera, to the Southbury Green ShopRite. My name is Robin Starchuk, and I live directly across from the receiving area of ShopRite at 57 Brown Road. I am very aware of operations at this site as my picture window faces that area. My bedroom window is in line with tractor trailer lights backing to dock, and I'm outside a lot, exclamation sign. This area that is provided for delivery has never been easy for truckers to navigate. Limited space greatly hinders their ability. There is no clear way to approach, and each driver has a different idea on how to do it. Many times there are other vehicles in the path, which makes it even more difficult. Other smaller delivery trucks, and when very busy at the store, even cars parked on roadway into parking lots, being able to back up to the dock requires finesse and experience, which a lot clearly don't have. Moving the dock area further up would surely be a bad idea, exclamation sign. Pulling out of the dock area onto Brown Road, many trucks run over the curb. There used to be a light pole to the left on Grass Island area, which was hit and eventually knocked over. The exit was widened a bit, but is still a problem. Trucks turning around to back up to dock pull up across Brown Road and onto our lawn. Many years ago, the original green owners put up a fence to alleviate this. The fence has been hit numerous times and knocked down and broken several times. Another issue is using the parking lot for extra trailers, thus taking up parking spots using area for a truck depot. At all times of the night, these trailers are being switched out, moved around with great deal of noise and light onto our house as they pull directly up to adjacent exit. Trucks are left idling and/or with lights on sometimes for a great deal of time. If new build is approved, I am concerned. I'm concerned about construction time of day. The last time a new build took place, construction was overnight and was very noisy, throwing metal into dumpsters, etc. And as always, garbage is a major concern. The daily garbage that blows our way is mostly ShopRite related. As soon as it's picked up, more comes. And during construction, styrofoam, packing materials, etc. was blowing over. have addressed the garbage and truck issues many times in the past and have gotten pretty worn out from the stress of it. Maybe quote unquote truck route signs on a, or Star Chat. And she leaves her phone number.
Any comments?
I'd like,
As far as, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'd like to maybe speak with Commissioner Hein, because my client has said, you know, her brother has a very large asphalt operation
Right next door.
right there. It's kinda, they're coming in all times of day, morning and ever, and, you know, I use them, I have no issue with them, they're a great company. But this has been an issue, okay? I have seen trailers parked there. You have the right to say 24 hours or not at all, okay? You have the right to say, you know, if there was a lamp in the way and it got knocked down, well, it needs to be brought back into zoning compliance, you know, you put the lamp back in. If she shouldn't have light coming into her rooms because all those lights meet your criteria, unless they're wall packs on the back of the building that stores will put up sometimes, as well as many people on the street, because they hate our lighting regulation. But that's something that you can certainly put in your resolution to, you know, have it reviewed, you know, by my office, as well as show compliance or not compliance, you know, with zoning enforcement. You know, same with, you know, trees that have died there. These are the times that, you know, your board can come in and say, you know, you've got to upgrade and, you know, keep your site in compliance. But yeah, I have no issues with any of the things she's brought out, as well as say, you know, you gotta step up your maintenance plan. But they're there every day. Can they do a better job? Sure, sure. But the plastic bags are a nuisance.
No kidding. I mean, it really bothers me every time I drive down 84.
Oh,
See all
yes.
the garbage that's on the side of the
Yes,
road.
yeah.
Why do people do this? I don't know.
Yeah, I
It
couldn't agree more.
bothers the hell out of me.
Yeah.
It just seems, it's very easily, I think a lot of it would just be more of a good neighbor.
I agree.
Yeah, and I think
Yeah.
a lot of it's that. You know,
And-
I got the impression she's more complaining about the truck, the lighting on the
The headlights
truck.
of the trucks.
Right. So if they're idling at night for a long period of time
Right.
with the lights on,
Right.
they can shut them off.
Exactly.
Just stuff,
And if
that
there's,
kind of
and
thing,
if there's any way
yeah.
that can be put in the resolution, I have no problem presenting that to the
We
store.
have control over how long somebody puts their headlights on.
No, but you can tell them
them.
there's no trespass lighting. I mean, that's part of your regulation in lighting.
Well,
And-
that's true.
But that's from a vehicle, it's not from
Well, it's lighting. You remember the goal is you don't want, you know, to have a driveway, you know, I mean, basic design, you know, of a driveway on a house is, you, instead of having a straight in shot, you should try to create a subtle curve, so, you know, the lights don't go into the neighbors or yourselves. But yeah, you have the authority under your lighting regulation to control that.
Do you have an understanding yourself about how much room there is to improve the buffer?
The buffer,
Yeah, is there room to put a fence? Is there room to put new trees? I mean,
Supposedly there was a fence there before.
that I don't
And
know,
it got
I
knocked
have
down.
to ask, I know nothing about it, I don't know who installed, I don't even remember.
Yeah, but you
Okay.
know, when you're looking at these plans though, like two trucks would be facing that property
Yes,
if they were parked there.
yes.
I mean, to me, like that, it is what it is in terms of how the construction of this would come out, the architecture would come out. The other thing too is like, is there enough space? Is there any concern with space with trucks backing in, with trucks driving around the area, with trucks pulling out of the parking lot over there?
It's all been reviewed by a traffic engineer. I mean,
Okay,
Oh,
You
when?
know, Frateroli, you know, when they, was originally designed. Oh,
Okay. I know you're not before us to discuss the site plan, but she mentions a truck routing signs. How,
Like
do we know how
Wayfair.
the trucks enter this area? Do they come in on the Brown Road side, or I mean, they should be coming in around the other side and going across the back and then backing into the loading
Yeah,
bay.
I'm gonna say something, and I don't mean to be funny or rude, but try and find a good truck driver. They're
Well, I
not there,
mean-
I mean, they're rude, they don't know how to drive, but the way they come in is down by the Starbucks entry, come in between where the two restaurants
Yeah,
were
okay.
and work their way around the back and
Okay.
then go out Brown Road. Now, if you want a wayfaring sign, for that, that can be done. You have the authority to do that.
I think we should at least ask for that.
No problem. Just put it in the resolution.
And I think a lot of it is just being a good neighbor,
I agree.
yeah.
I
So
agree.
I think that would be,
I agree.
yeah. 'Cause some of it you can't avoid,
I
but
just,
there is aspects of it to it where you can.
well, even if I can reduce it 50%, it's better than it is.
Is anybody here representing the owner? You're-
I am. And I'm
So can
the
you,
agent legally.
so can you take a look at that boundary area and see if there's room for improvement there?
If room for improvement to you means though what?
Additional trees, put a fence to catch the bags? I don't know, anything that we can do to,
Okay. I mean,
restore a more firm border.
Yeah, no, I
I
understand.
think planning's comments back to us in their referral basically is all in this letter,
Yes,
okay? So going through this letter point by point. Number one, the backing up of the, trailer, the lights, okay? As Jay mentioned, they should shut the lights off if they're sitting there for a while. I
yeah,
think.
I understand.
Somehow we should get that in the resolution,
I agree.
okay? As far as the wayfinding signs, yes,
I agree.
make them come in through at the
Yeah.
Starbucks building and around the back.
Have a defined route.
And then when they leave, yes, they probably will leave down Brown Road, which means, that was another one of her comments. They cut the curb. The curb isn't properly set for a tractor-trailer turning movement.
Inside, on the Brown Road side?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay,
Okay, so that should be fixed.
okay.
So,
Well, it'll-
and properly, conditioned paved,
Yes,
okay?
and you'll be able to find out right away when you go out there and see if the islands are all run over.
Okay. Also, this issue, as Mark mentioned, some sort of landscape screening. And she mentioned there was a fence there once upon a
I
time,
don't
it's no
recall,
longer there.
But if
I
you
mean, that's
want,
easy to find out,
if you
go
want-
back to the
if you-
original
if
site
you-
plan that we
well, it
approved.
wasn't part of the site plan.
And it should go back up if not,
Well,
or
fine,
modified.
yeah. And if anyone, has any info on it, it's fine. So it would be put on her property,
What, the fence?
the fence?
No, the fence would be on the PDD number, the plaza side of Brown Road.
But, I mean, that's where all my ingress and ingress occurs onto Brown Road.
Right, but it's just one outlet.
No, there's two. There's one down at the end,
Okay, we got the site.
right? Are there two, Jordan?
Coming,
Right here.
And-
You're asking for off-site improvements if we're going
No,
on this side
no,
of the
no,
road,
no.
and then we're asking for on-site improvements if we're working in the island.
The on-site improvements will be at this location here, because I guess this is being torn up by the tractor-trailer
Okay.
turning movement.
Okay, got it.
I don't know what fence she's referring to.
I think she's referring to
Got it.
her fence.
Okay.
That's what I was interpreting it
Her
as in the
fence?
letter.
Her-
She has
The fence was on her property.
her fence.
That I recall.
In my conversations with her, that was what was
That,
So
her
what's the issue
fence,
with her fence?
I recall.
It's been hit.
And that's what she references in her.
Well,
Well,
she
this-
also mentioned having trucks driving on part of her lawn.
So the fence goes right.
I think
up to
that's
the
an
road,
issue of this
couple
curb,
inches from the road.
So
okay.
already at
if
the
you're
curb. not being
Understand.
over a
proper.
fraction off the road, you're hitting the
Yeah,
curb
the
on
fence.
her
A little
lawn.
too short.
Comment
on her
on the
yard.
curbing, you're referencing this curbing right here, right?
Yep.
And improving this from a radii perspective?
I mean, I don't see how there can be much of an issue here.
It's,
It seems wide enough.
Mr.
but,
Chairman, it's probably
I don't
gotta be
know.
a 30-foot
You're right.
radius. That's all.
And to go back to what Mr. Sullivan said about the quality of truck driver, he's 100% correct. I can vouch for that. Wow.
So I don't mean to interrupt. That was actually gonna be, an inquiry I had. If we're including the language in the resolution, which in my opinion and from an enforcement perspective, only assists my office
Yes,
to get complaints like from Mrs. Starcheck and then address them because we have clear language that allows us to go after these issues. If trucking idling and trucking access and not adhering to the wayfaring signs ends up being an issue, we as the enforcement contact Regency centers and inform them of this, what then is the relationship between Regency Center and coordination with these shipping and receiving companies that provide these logistics? And what do you feel is their ability to impart this need on that employee level, as it would be
I
in
think
the
the
whole
tenant,
system?
the tenant and the building owner work it out.
There are regulations for no idling,
Yes,
in,
Yeah.
you know, other locations, so
Yeah.
it's not like the first up by far.
no.
And
But
I
it
don't know
becomes,
how we would enforce it.
it becomes a matter of
Right.
the actual developer and the business actually imparting this on their employees and their shipping and receiving patrons. That's what's really needed here. So if we're, as the enforcers, are constantly bringing this up to them, we would hope that they are then imparting that need on the trucking companies. But
Good luck.
what, yeah, exactly,
Right.
therein lies my question. And
Right.
what happens at that point in the relationship?
Yeah, how could we,
Well, I
how
don't
we
think
could
we have
enforce
the
it.
ability to go further.
Of course
than
not.
our
No.
scope, right? So
Of course
it's-
not.
It's enforcing, and to the extent that the enforcement isn't, you know, if it's, isn't yielding the
Mm-hmm.
result we want, then what is, then what ability do we have? Which,
Mm-hmm.
what are the enforcement penalties that can be then, you know, met on the owners, right?
Okay.
Because, I mean, we can't go to the truck drivers, so we have to.
Of course,
Yeah.
and then it's on them to then impart that
Yeah,
need. If they're
it
being,
has to be.
if they're being fined and we unfortunately get to that level of enforcement,
Right.
that shows a drastic need from the town's perspective and a lack of adherence from
And maybe
their
it
perspective.
becomes, you know, a deterrent. To avoid the fines and the constant,
Yeah.
you know, communication on the same issue.
That's my
It
question.
might be something, they might choose to be preemptive
Mhm.
in their, and say, you know, look at it, maybe something even beyond what we would recommend here to prevent this from ever coming up again. I think it's one of those things that, you know, it hasn't been dealt with seriously, and we're having a serious conversation about it. And so maybe this is now the message to say, do something, because there is going to be enforcement.
Because we have clear language.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure the language is fruitful, so I think we have a good path forward, just based
Yeah,
on this
no,
conversation.
agreed, yeah.
So Commissioner Giroux, I do believe in your resolution, if you could address that the architect coordinate with the civil engineer to redo the existing radius on that island. I would indicate that that driveway that goes directly across to Ms. Starshak's property, you know, maybe we put a fence that's as wide as that driveway. So if any truck was there, you know, and the lights were on, you know, the fence would block it. I mean, you're only talking about 24 feet. I mean, it's nothing. If you could put whatever you want in the resolution, I'll get it implemented.
Okay. I think that's a good.
That's
start.
how
I don't really
that's
think it's
how-
a lot.
No, it's not.
Right, it's
No.
just more of being a good
No,
neighbor.
No, I agree. And it's not like this is the first time you have heard it, planning has heard it, building has heard it, zoning enforcement has heard it. No, but whatever you can put in, the resolution, we'll get it implemented.
All right, so we should add to the resolution then, all right, let's start with the first bullet that's in the resolution right now. Storage and shipping containers in parking spaces and the presence of trash in the rear of the building, A, should be addressed and prohibited. Is there, I've never been back there, to tell you the truth, so I don't know, do they park trailers back there?
They
On a
will come in
long-term
and-
basis?
And park it, yes, they will, they'll leave an empty trailer.
For what purpose?
Sometimes it could be full of bananas, sometimes it could be, who knows, could be full of, you know, nothing perishable, but, you know, they'll drop them off. They shouldn't, but, you know,
Using
Yeah.
it as an
Well, how do they get-
alternative
if they
storage
drop 'em
array,
off?
Yeah.
because they have limited
yeah,
storage
and
inside their
again-
building,
And
so they-
again, this addition may eliminate this issue.
If they drop the trailer off, how do they get the trailer to the loading dock?
No,
Do
it's
they
left
have a-
there. It's like a lonely child out in the back.
For days or?
Yes,
just the trailer,
No
Yeah,
cab.
Yeah, no horse.
Yeah. I looked
So is
at,
it like on the dock
No,
and there
no,
are people
No,
that are,
it's out against the,
So they're taking-
outer parking.
They're
area.
taking up legal parking spaces.
Correct, they are,
Which is really
Correct.
violating.
And
correct.
it's also gonna make the driving, the maneuvering easier
Yes.
if that trailer is not there,
That's
right,
correct.
and safer for
Yes.
damage,
Correct.
so.
yeah, you know, I looked on Google Maps for it too, there's some semi-permanent trailers that are parked there too.
Yes.
Like those ones you know, they just drop them off and put them in the parking spot, no wheels.
I just know about the tractor trailers in the back that
Yeah.
are emptied. They're yellow and have their name on it.
Yeah, really.
The board never addressed this when Baskin Robbins was there?
No, because you couldn't see it.
Right.
It was in the hole.
Oh, no, didn't the neighbors, did
There
the
was
neighbors
some
complain?
complaints.
They
Yeah.
complained
Yeah,
about.
no, the neighbors
idling
did
and
complain about
noise
the,
and
you know,
whatnot.
because the Thermal Kings had to run 24/7 or the ice cream
That's
would
true,
melt.
that's right,
That
that's
is
right. I
100%
remember,
true.
yeah.
Yeah, we do, because
Yeah.
I work there.
Yeah.
Marty, all right.
Again, the more you can add to the resolution, the more it gives me power.
Gary, if we
All right.
are moving forward, I'm sorry to interrupt, given the number of modifications we're probably going to be doing if we do move forward with this resolution, what I would recommend is allowing me to make the modifications and then conferring with a member of this commission afterwards to confirm that what was done is actually the intended language, and then if everything works, this commission can approve it tonight upon the confirmation of the draft after this meeting.
And with that, if I may add, I could even then add additional information onto the maps, to the drawings, that would be for your signature.
Are you willing to do that
Yes,
after the fact?
yes.
I mean, we have a lot of concerns, and I think we have
The
to.
vast majority of this is basically habits that can be changed.
Correct. But if I can get it on a drawing that the chairman has to sign, and that becomes record, then, you know, when it comes time to get a zoning permit, I won't be able to get a zoning permit because I haven't fulfilled the components of the resolution.
I have no problem going that route as long as
No, yeah,
you, being the owner's rep,
Yes.
doesn't have a problem going that route. And making sure that they have to follow through on what
think that's
we
correct.
ask for.
I have no issue.
All right, let's do it that way.
Do I understand that what we're asking for is that there, within the resolution, there's going to be you're out of compliance if you park a tractor trailer there?
As well as they need to do some improvements.
Right, but they
Yes.
can't, but my key with, part of this is,
Yes.
it seems like
Yeah.
some of the problem is that those trucks are there.
Yes.
And it screws up a lot of them.
Correct.
Yeah.
So if they have to come in, unload, and they gotta go someplace else,
Right.
they can't stay there more than, and we come up with a designated
Yeah.
time.
I think what Jordan's proposing is that we approve this amendment tonight
On conditions,
with, under condition that
right,
Jordan will,
do the modifications.
modify the resolution to include more detail and more points,
Yes.
bullet points.
Yes.
To the resolution.
Yeah.
And
Their language, yeah.
with Hugh making the statement tonight that as the owner's rep, he agrees to pie in the sky right now.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
I mean, we'll-
but let's look at it, in all honesty. I interface with development teams all the time. For me to come to them and say, we got an approval, but we have these things we have to do. In my entire career, I've never had the developer say, oh, God, you're kidding me. I mean, it's not like I'm asking to build, you're asking us to do a nuclear reactor.
No.
You're, half the stuff you're asking for is maintenance.
They're minor things.
Yeah,
really,
they're very
and-
minor.
So there
But they
should be
need to
no
be
issue.
very specific.
Yes.
They need to be very specific, so there's no wiggle room.
Correct.
Right,
And that's what-
I
But
think
it-
that's what Jordan is
But
going
it
to
allows
do.
Jordan then to implement them
Correct.
after the
Yeah.
fact.
Right,
And the
because,
stipulation here is clear language,
Yes,
so I
correct.
think,
Yeah,
That's correct.
yes,
so we
Yeah.
okay with
The
that then?
chairman or another
Yeah.
member of the commission.
yeah.
All right. Should we read this into the record as is with
With
a
the
statement that
bullet-
modifications?
Yeah, they can't turn around.
I would bullet point the modifications you'd like to make, so that way this entire commission can discuss those modifications. And then, once the resolution is finalized, I'll confer with either you or another member of this commission to confirm that the resolution meets the intent that this commission discussed at this meeting. And then, as long as the map aligns and can receive your signature, everything's jived together so that we can move forward with the
Okay, all right. Before we get to that point of reading into the resolution, getting some possible additional points, this is a public hearing, so is there anyone in the public who wants to speak for or against this?
Speak either for or against, I'm your resident, my name is Jim Rapp.
Can you go to the,
Do I have to?
Yes.
You can take this if you want, we just need it for the minutes afterwards.
My name is Jim Rapp. I'm an 8-year resident. A couple years back, Jeff gave me some advice. He said, we're in issues before you think about volunteering or other, and the time for me now is appropriate. I met Jordan at the Economic Development meeting this week. Our journalist friend, I have his phone number, but I don't remember his name. He was over at the hotel at the library meeting, so this is happenstance for me. First and foremost, thank you for your volunteering. It's very much appreciated. I see the results of what Southbury is. I intend this to be my home from here forward. It sounds like Mr. Sullivan could build whatever would solve the problem. And then you're now at a behavioral step. You've done the best that you can. You've done everything that the board wants. The physical plant is there. It's now how do you move forward and maintain it or enforce it. Earlier on in the evening, you talked to the future, 5 to 20 years. So in my thought process here, in the future, what if we had automated trucks? Very viable. What behavior would we want the automated truck to follow? That to me is success, right? You have the physical plant, you've designed it. Now you have perfect compliance because it's a machine. In between now and the machine, how do we communicate? How does your client, how do they communicate with not a unified trucking force? I was actually a tractor trailer supervisor early in my career before moving on to corporate IT. I had the benefits of a very talented Teamster work staff. We had no issues in training. We had some of the best drivers in the world. This client won't have that benefit. They'll get different drivers all the time. I mean, Jay, it'd be hard to enforce. I think you can almost empathize with that. So if you knew what success was, then I think the part that makes this really work for Jordan and everybody else is, what does the store manager have to do? Who within your client's world talks to the logistics people, and you've got 20 different concerns delivering 50 different products, and they have turnover in the workforce? What manual makes it easy? And I think, is it Wendy? You wanted clear language. What manual makes it easy for the store manager or the person there?
Yeah, if I may, the grocery store is owned by the Singari family, the Wakefern group. Tomorrow, I'll call Joe Singari, my client. I'll explain to him what we went over here today, and he will then get one of his liaisons to me, and I'll explain to him what's going on, and they then will have meetings with the manager as well as with the landlord.
Right, I mean, if you can't have someone managerially accountable unless you have a viable plan. It's just, I'm sorry, I apologize for being a novice.
If you could just go to the podium.
Okay, thank you.
Then press the button.
I want green?
Yes.
I've got green, thank you. Yeah, I mean, you can actually get willing parties, and it sounds like everybody's willing on all sides to do something if you can teach them and hold them accountable to something that works. And I think that's really just the best of it. And, you know, your reputation as an architect, we've met before about 6 months ago in the village. I didn't know you might have a second career as a barrister, country barrister,
Oh, boy.
but I respect that.
I got a brother for that.
This is one of the things that I truly love about town. He's an expert, right? Talented, focused, experienced, and volunteers coming together, and you're allowing me 3, 4, 5 minutes on a happenstance evening where I just caught a ride and I had the time. thank you so much for what you do. Yeah, and Jordan, I really appreciate it as a taxpayer. Thank you for the job you do. You're impressive in both meetings I've seen. Thank you so much.
Is that it for public participation? All right, I guess we can close the public hearing then. All right, do I hear a motion to close the public hearing?
I move that we close the public hearing.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we had this resolution that Jordan drafted up. Obviously, we're gonna attempt to add a few more bullets to it along the way. But Jordan will take this resolution and really detail the bullets to where the owner is going to understand what has to be done, and at the same tone, people upstairs will have a way to enforce it, if it can be enforced.
I
Okay, so
can't
it's
speak,
gonna be a,
I would take the thing and I'd make it part of the drawings. Yeah.
okay, I mean, once it's done,
I
if
think
you
we
want,
voted
we
on the
can pass it
resolution.
around to everybody to read and comment before I sign off on it. But that's what we'll go forward with right now.
The challenge would just be how we individually get it out to each member and then receive comment back.
Well, I mean, if you draft it up,
Yep.
email it to everybody,
Mm-hmm.
and everybody, please, within a day, send it back.
And put that in the email, a reminder that you need a response within 24 hours.
That's
And if
perfect.
you don't, your comments will be
They-
Not included.
included.
A key aspect
You're
of
off.
this will be to individually reply to me
Yep.
and not reply all.
Correct.
That's very important.
Just to you.
That's very important. So I will be including all of this in the email that I draft to everyone. Okay.
I have a question, Gary. Do we need to, or do we want to, maybe is a better choice of words, put this resolution in now, or do we want to wait until,
No, I think we have to read it in tonight and approve it tonight with a subsequent modification by Jordan with our approval, with a final approval by email vote. I guess that's okay, right? No?
Mr. Chairman,
No?
what I would like to do is when he's done and he has that paperwork, your resolution, I'd like to make it part of the drawings that you signed. Cause it's one of the things that, when we go back into the archives, yeah, we can find the drawings, but we can't always find the resolution. We can always find the plans, but we can't find the plans sometimes with the chairman's signature. So if I could get I'll make
So
the
you'll
resolution
paste this right on the plans.
right on the plans,
That's fine with me.
on the Mylar. That way you see it when you sign it.
Now,
The issue
Sonia,
becomes,
what was the issue? We can't,
Well, the thing is, we can't vote by email because that becomes a meeting. And if it's a public hearing and we've closed the public hearing, we still
Okay.
have to. So we could close the
can-
public hearing, but then at the next meeting, discuss the resolution and then come to a decision at that point.
but that's,
I think that'll move. You'll have structure craft calling you next week.
so the initial option that I proposed was commune between each other, and then we can pick a party from the commission that will meet with me individually and confirm the language. At that point, it's not a vote, it's confirmation of something already discussed, and just making sure that it's in alignment with the intention as was presented at this commission meeting.
if that's legal, fine, we can do it that way,
Okay.
all right?
Chairman's duties never end.
So I guess that's my job, to meet with you, Jordan.
That sounds good. All right.
You wanna read this into the record?
So am I reading it subject to? Resolution subject to addition of additional bullet points and Mylar. Modification of detailed plans, amendment number 23, Southbury Green, PDD number 8, May 14th, 2025. Whereas on April 9th, 2025, the Zoning Commission received an application for modification of detailed plans for PDD number 8. This application was submitted by Bennett Sullivan Associates, agent on behalf of Regency Centers, owner. Application is dated received by the Land Use Department on April 8th, 2025. Whereas the proposed modification of detailed plans would allow for the construction of a 1,946 square foot addition to the shipping and receiving area with a ramp and 2 access doors located to the rear of Building A. This modification would also allow for the relocation of the primary entry and exit doors located in the front of Building A. Additional modifications would allow for the installment of an employee access door and ramp in the northern corner of Building A. This modification is to provide access to 6 parking spaces to be marked for use by customers picking up pre-ordered groceries. Finally, alterations to the 20 parking spaces located in rear of Building A are proposed to be modified to accommodate the travel way between the spaces and the new shipping and receiving addition. Whereas the Zoning Commission referred this application to the Planning Commission on April 9th, 2025 for a report on this application's conformance with a 2023 POCD. On April 15th, 2025, the Planning Commission issued a positive referral regarding the application with the following notes to be provided to the Zoning Commission for their consideration. 1, storage of shipping containers in the parking spaces and the presence of trash in the rear of Building A should be addressed and prohibited. 2, new entry and exit doors to Building A should be accommodated by ADA compliant walking surfaces. 3, pedestrian crosswalk striping should be considered to be modified in order to properly lead patrons from the parking area into the entry doors and out of the exit doors and back into the parking area. Whereas a public hearing was held by the Zoning Commission on May 14th, 2025, and closed on the same date, upon which time all information was presented and considered. Now therefore, be it resolved that the modification of detailed plans amendment number 23 to the PDD number 8 is approved, subject to the following administrative requirements. 1, submission of applications to the Building and Zoning Departments, Fire Marshal, and Housatonic Valley Health District as are necessary and required, and subject to additional modifications by this board and the Mylar plan submitted by the agent. Adopted at a regular meeting by the Zoning Commission held on May 14th, 2025, effective date of approval, June 6th, 2025.
I think we should verbally add to the bullet points, and you'll clarify them in the final resolution, but anybody can chime in. With regards to the property, the Star Shack property across the street on Brown Road, that repairs be made to their front yard back to original condition, including any fencing and or lawn area that is destroyed. The curb line on the exit, the egress from the parking lot that is being cut by the tractor trailers should be investigated and widened as necessary with proper materials. Again, anybody else can chime in. Lights, idling trucks should shut the lights off at night. No tractor trailers should be allowed to be stored in the parking area. Wayfinding signs for the tractor delivery vehicles.
And reinstallment of the light that was, that Ms. Tarchak indicated was broken.
If there are wall pack lights that are not proper according to our zoning regulations, they should come down. Anything else there? I mean, George, Jordan, you can add more as you see fit. And all these points should be in detail so that the owner knows what he has to do, and your department upstairs knows how to enforce it.
Yep, that'd be great.
And to the extent also, whatever fence is constructed should be something substantive, not something that's gonna just get knocked over again, because that's a point that she made. So I think there should be some specification about the quality of the construction.
Part of the design, whoever cuts the curb and stuff, you know, where the fences go, so like you said, they don't get hit again. And, I mean, all that has to be taken into consideration.
There's one aspect that this commission will also have to address that the resolution reminded me of, and that is the fact that the parking area, as we've discussed it in being the area that trailers will often be located outside of the shipping and receiving, there are two options for modification to that parking area. One is a reduction of a few spaces to accommodate compact spaces, and the other is a reduction of what I believe are 14 spaces to accommodate parallel parking spaces. Both of these options still meet the minimum requirements for parking, so it's really either option is afforded to you. The applicant has also represented that they can hold the parking spaces in a green reserve space if this commission felt so inclined. In my experience driving through the lot in the area, I've personally not seen patrons parking in the rear. I've only ever seen the trucking and shipping utilizing that area for that purpose. So with that being said, the commission will also have to decide as to what option of the three they are moving forward with. Can I show you on the plans?
Yeah,
a
but
little
aren't
bit?
they looking to move some of the patrons to park in the back for the purposes of
Picking up,
the deliveries?
Or the side.
yeah,
Those
that's
are-
on the side.
On the
Those are
side,
side.
okay,
And
okay.
those are being converted from standard parking spaces to now just being marked for
Okay.
grocery pickup.
Okay.
And I assume there'll be signs that say that.
Yes,
Just like, they're gonna get rid of the spots in the front.
yes.
and move
It's
them
on
to
our,
the side.
it's on a drawing.
Right, right.
And can you do the same thing where they are parking trailers to say no parking allowed?
Go to the
Yes.
side first.
Yeah.
So the two options. Marty, in the rear, you have highlighted spaces and they're parallel. I'll move right over to, oh, if everyone wants to huddle around, that'd be great. Thank you, I appreciate that. So we'll go to the existing, just so you can see. Existing conditions, you have parking spaces in the rear here. This is where the trucks often will park. The options afforded to you are parallel spaces, where it's a reduction of 14 for a total of 20. These are to remove as standard parking spaces. The other option is to convert them to compact spaces, where for the most part, you only lose 2 spaces on the end.
Excuse me, may I ask, is there currently tractor trailers parking here, backing up here?
No, they're over here.
They're all only here?
Yeah, correct.
No, I
They
mean,
show 'em
you know,
both ways.
unloading the
This
dock,
one?
yeah, like an unloading dock.
That,
There's one there.
it might be one right, one.
Yeah, there
And a
is.
tractor
All right, so
trailer
your Wayfair
and one there.
is fine for these, backing up to here, how's that guy gonna do that? Right, so I don't know if the Wayfair is gonna be the one way, I don't know if it's gonna work,
How's
because,
it gonna get there?
no, how's he gonna turn around?
Right.
So he needs to come in from Brown Road for this one, and he needs to come in the back from this one. So,
When these guys show up, the delivery trucks, could they be assigned a loading dock, A, B, C?
It all depends on where the manager wants them or what they're delivering that
Yeah.
day. It varies all the time. I know Wednesday's fish, seafood, you know?
Good tip.
And bananas is,
yeah,
stop eating bananas.
They stay in the trailer too.
no, I mean, it's a very tough situation. There's no, there's no
And again,
one way of doing this.
no one parks there, not even employees. I mean, it's the problem, Southbury's overparked, just overparked.
There's still no room to turn around there with
No. This guy here, coming in from the Starbucks area, he'll never be able to maneuver around and back up right.
No, you're right.
Yeah.
No, he'd have to come out, spin, and come back.
And there's,
Go right back to the original.
That's not easy to do.
No, we're right back to the original issue.
Well, can this, do they need both?
it. Yes.
right.
Oh, just
straight truck to do this,
Yes, so they do have straight.
right, but a tractor trailer would be extremely difficult.
Oh, I
The
see.
only way they could do it would be to,
You got the gas line.
yeah,
That's a hillside too, isn't it?
Sorry?
That's a hillside.
Yeah, we have to go into it, but the gas line's problematic.
yeah. So, I don't know if the Wayfair sign would really be effective.
Well, certainly help for
That would
asphalt,
help, yeah. But,
but again, no one ever parks there. I mean, versus that,
Oh,
no,
I
take out the parking, I still meet requirements. Yeah.
Well, why do you need it?
It's been since 1998.
But that's
That was part of
okay,
the original
but why do you
PUD.
need it? I mean, could you take it out?
We don't need parking.
So just take it out.
We wouldn't pay it.
Right, that's what I'm saying, just
Yeah, but I need
make it go
permission.
away.
You need, it's,
You can't
was, I
take it
think
out
it's a
without
part of the
changing the
PD.
regulation.
Are
No,
you
no,
just
No,
not
it
doing
still
that?
fits,
It meets the
it's
requirements.
Maybe it's
it's
not
a
there.
requirement,
We have a
yeah.
minimum and a maximum.
As long as they
Amount
meet
of
the
cars.
minimum
Take it out,
requirement,
still meet the
it
requirement.
doesn't have to be.
There's the, not
I
decision,
take it out.
recommendation from plan.
I wouldn't bother putting
To
it in.
eliminate.
You're fine to eliminate, it's still within minimum.
Right, I think because you meet criteria for minimum parking.
You get on one of the commissions.
no, it's a difficult,
If this is addressed from an access perspective,
So you're
it
fine.
may alleviate the
18
question
spots.
of
Yeah.
whether or not trucks could come in and out in this direction anyway, which would remove the need for a comprehensive wayfaring design where it's really just one way in, one way out. Because regardless, we're being shown
Right.
that we're gonna need 2 points of access. Whether everyone's coming in here or some are coming in this way, if we address this, it improves the whole system and the ability
Yeah.
for trucks to maneuver and operate in this area.
So it's one way in and one way out is what you're suggesting.
No, no.
And it doesn't look like we'll be able to accommodate.
You can't accommodate that.
do you have any idea how many trucks a day we're talking about?
Yes,
I mean, I would think,
I was there, yes.
unless there's hundreds, which I doubt,
Yeah.
they can coordinate this to make it work, as is. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, that's what, right, that's like I said, most of this is just good neighborly stuff.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah,
And if I have a piece of paper from the zoning commission that says, hey, you need to do the following things,
You know,
they're gonna do it.
I know this is probably too much, but I wonder if you could just imagine for a second, if you just moved the entrance here. Cause if they're parked here and their headlights are hitting the house,
I can't, you need to understand, there's a large construction operation.
oh, is there?
Huge.
Okay.
Understand that this curb cut and that curb cut are part of an STC permit, because this site has more than 200 cars. So it's not like I can start shutting stuff
and
down.
like I said, I think by just altering that a little bit, I think that would alleviate the problem.
And put the,
You're right.
right, and,
Correct.
yeah.
I mean,
Won't be a
I
problem.
am
Right.
just
the
looking at it, I
land
can't
use
see why
coordinator.
it doesn't work.
Yeah,
You know, I work with George.
Yeah.
So for a novice truck driver,
Well, that's
Well-
the issue right now.
and you're gonna
Yeah,
get everything
it's-
from the
it's a tough
experts in the
job.
house.
You're gonna get a perfect, I mean, you're always gonna have
Get a
the
lot of
issue, and that's just
complaints
part of
and
the
we
game.
have
It's
to,
just,
you know,
Even if we speak to the civil
the
engineer,
regulations
and
and
they
it's
give
not
us the
hard.
radius, we make it, it's still
and
drivable.
they're still gonna have it, yeah.
But to your point, we might
Yes.
improve this from 50%.
Right,
Yes, I agree,
correct.
And
I
that's,
agree.
it's more than what's been going on
Yeah.
thus far.
Yeah.
It's a positive.
I think
We may want to
Where do you live right now?
remove the wayfaring, but I
Oh, you
think
live
all
in
the
okay.
other
Yeah, we can
bullets that
leave
have
the
been
wayfaring
discussed.
off
Yeah.
and just a general discussion with the owner
Yes.
and whatnot. You know, there's an issue, let's try to coordinate
Yeah.
Right.
where the trucks come in and
Lighting's
out.
gonna be clear, parking, maintenance is gonna be clear, and if that gets addressed,
Yeah.
we'll be able to
Yeah,
touch
that's
on
true.
any
I
damage
just
that is
moved that
affected
and
in
I
this
moved
area
here.
or this
And
area.
But they'll be responsible
Which
for it.
shouldn't
3
occur
years
moving
ago.
forward because we're making this change to
But it will.
accommodate the needs of
It
the
will,
Manhattan.
worst truck
you're
driver.
right, it will.
Well,
maybe.
And I'm wondering if some of the
Okay.
idling issues that, Robin has, how much of those are from refrigeration trucks, Stomach Kings?
Sure, all, but again, I don't know if the trucks come in at midnight,
That's
I
what
don't
I'm,
know if they come in 7 in the morning.
Yeah, but typically trucks like that take a half hour to unload. They're not,
well, that, my question is, no,
It is,
you
it's.
can't leave a refrigeration truck overnight. running over, you know, I mean,
Or just don't leave it there.
yeah, or, yeah, take it down to the,
Maybe some of the issues of
Yeah.
leaving stuff
Oh,
there
my husband works
has
there
to
now.
do
Like
with
he has,
this not
where he
being
has,
here. Because this is like I
it's in
said,
New
it's
York,
shipping
he's an
and
attorney, so
receiving.
he works, he has
So
an office
that
in
was-
White
Yeah.
Plains.
that's what it says, shipping and
And
receiving.
that's gonna be
Yes,
a
yes.
cooler too, right? Yeah,
He's
so
doing
that would,
mediation, no, he's,
that could eliminate some of the thermal running.
All right,
Yeah,
all right. You got enough?
That's good.
yeah.
yeah, and he's in it, so he goes to courts in
Alright, good.
different parts of the.
All right,
Detailed and clear like you always do, Jordan.
Yes, yes,
we're gonna remove the parking in the back. All right. We're gonna,
Yes,
hey, everybody,
yes.
the parallel parking in the back, we're gonna remove. It's not needed. Green, yeah, green.
It stays in parking if you ever need it, and until you need it.
Except it's blacktop.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. Takes care of that. Do you need this?
I did
Done.
put it in my refrigerator.
Oh, old business. What? I didn't see the other side. Old business, discussion on comprehensive zoning regulation update
Oh, I get that.
from the RFP selection
Oh, I get
committee.
that.
Okay,
That's the right call.
so, I've reached out to, Enfield's, and got some feedback, and we also met with Jordan, and we discussed generally, the two proposals, and I think that, we've reached a consensus about a recommendation. So, I don't know if now's the time to share that, or, if you wanna.
This, a recommendation to hire one of
Yes.
the two? Okay. Let's get it over with.
Yeah, absolutely.
May I just interrupt for a minute? Did we get an actual vote for the previous public hearing? We closed it, but we didn't approve or vote.
Oh, she read the resolution, but then we didn't say.
We, we talked about the resolution and then we moved on, so we need an
That's
official.
why you're sitting in that seat. Keep us honest. All right, there, do I hear approval to, approve, what are we? Application 250408 ZC PDD number 8, amendment number 23, Southbury Green Associates, Southbury Green ShopRite Edition, Regency Center's owner. The resolution as read and to be modified as we discussed and further detailed by Jordan. Recommendation to approve it?
Richard
Hear a
motions.
second?
My second?
Any further discussion on this? All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Back to the zoning regulation update.
So the consensus was to go forward with the SLR proposal.
Okay.
And also, just as a point of our discussion, we decided that interviews were not appropriate. Just want to make that clear, because it had been discussed on the record before, and we just wanted to conclude on that point, that the subcommittee decided that would not
That's
be
fine.
appropriate.
That's fine. May I ask for the record, what was their fee?
Apologies, I do not have that information
It
in
was
front of
in
me.
the high 90s.
I've
They were both in the
relinquished
high
all of my
90s.
RFP documents, but
They
I
were pretty
believe they,
close to each other?
They were within a few $1,000s.
they did come in under the number that the other applicant came in for, but they were roughly 95.
Were they the low?
They were the low.
They were the low. Okay. But from a qualifications point of view, they were appropriate for what we want done.
Couldn't agree more, and they
All
have
right,
a reputation with
so
the town.
Do we have to approve?
You would have to approve the client for the RFP, so we can move forward and get them in and start the project in kind, start writing up contracts and everything like that.
Okay. Do I hear a motion to approve?
I move that we approve the SLR as the vendor.
Second?
Second.
Any further discussion on this? All those in favor?
Aye.
Let's get this going.
You got it here.
Good night.
Any other, okay, other business, correspondence from Naugatuck Valley Regional. Do we have something from them? Maybe we do. Anything on here that's important?
Standard stuff.
Washington is in the Naugatuck Valley Council of Governments? They're in Northwest Hills, I thought.
Thought so too.
Okay.
That's news to me.
No, I do a lot of work in Washington. I know they're Northwest Hills. But anyway. There's a couple Oxfords and Middleburys. No big deals, obviously, right? All right. Zoning Enforcement Officer's Report?
She is at Casio this week. So-
All week,
All week,
on vacation?
on vacation at, the Travelers Golf Course in Cromwell.
Nice.
Not too,
Okay.
not too bad a spot. If they feed you well, depends on the day. But she's, getting trained right now all week. She'll be doing her test on Friday, and, we look forward to getting her back.
All right,
and,
so I guess we'll get a report from her next time she's back.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay. Meeting minutes for March. Do I hear a motion to approve? Any issues?
Gary, I'm sorry, that's supposed to be April, not March. So that was my error.
Okay, April. This is May, right?
Yes.
May.
Okay.
So it's the April 9th minutes.
Any issues with April's meeting minutes? No, I hear a motion to approve them?
I move that we approve the April minutes.
Second?
I'll second it.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, any other business that may come before the commission? All right,
How about any bills?
Oh, actually, just want to, you have the calendar in front of you, all of you. It's for next month. It's going to be the new time of 7 o'clock.
okay.
Next month we'll do it right
Do
then.
I hear a motion to adjourn?
Move to 7.
You're practicing.
That's right.
Anybody? Motion to adjourn? Second? All those in favor? Aye. Okay. You're welcome.